Good morning. We're learning a mimer, Parshas Beha'alos'cha. We started yesterday, the Rebbe's mimer. And we are holding in the Dvar Malchus on page Gimel Amud Aleph. Try to recapture a few points that were discussed yesterday. So Beha'alos'cha Es Haneros is obviously a mimer that was discussed already in the Likutei Torah and other Chassidic works, but the mitzvah itself was, on a simple level, was to light the menorah in the Mishkan. So it says in the Likutei Torah, the teaching of the Alter Rebbe, that what does it mean to light the menorah and to light the menorah? It also means to light the neshamas. Why? Because candles are souls. So he writes, where do we know it? Because it's a pasuk. Pasuk says, Ner Avai Nishma Sodom. It's a pasuk in Mishlei 20:27. That's how we know that candles are referencing to souls, to your neshama. The 7 candles in the candelabra and the menorah are 7 types of Jewish people. What does it mean, 7 types of Jewish people? That they serve Hashem in 7 different ways. There's one who serves Hashem out of love, one which is drawn like water, chesed, one who serves Hashem like fire. Within love itself, there is a fiery love, there is watery love. Different kinds of ava, different kinds of gevur, but in general, you have 7 types of serving Hashem, of ways of serving Hashem. Comes the Rebbe Menashe in his mimer, same dibur matchel, same opening verse, Beha'alos'cha Es Haneros. It was said 100 years ago. And he brings also a midrash. A very interesting midrash in Bereshis Rabo, and over there it says, Hashem says to the Jewish people, my candle is in your hand, your candle is in my hand. You keep the Torah, fine. And if you don't keep the Torah, I put out your candles. What does it mean? My candle is in your hand. It's the Torah. Why? Because it says also, Ner mitzvah tero'er. Torah itself also alludes to a candle, to light. What does it mean? Our candle is in the hands of God. It's referring to the nefesh, to the soul. So, if shomartos neiri, anim shamanech. If you kept my candle, I keep your candle. If you put out my candle, I'm putting out your candles. So we need to understand, since neshamas are called candles, it's explicitly said, as we said in Mishlei, Shlomo HaMelech says explicitly that candles are referred to souls. Souls refers to candles. Ner Avai Nishma Sodom. Why do we need the midrash? What is the midrash is adding to the understanding that candles are souls and souls are candles? And also another thing that we asked, it says Ner Avai Nishma Sodom. Candles of Hashem is neshama of man. And neshama is Ner Avai, and neshama is the candle of God. And in Midrash it says that neshama is your nefesh. So that's a question on the mimer, that not only that, the Rabbi Menashe brings the Midrash, what does it add? Number one, what does it add to my understanding? Not only that, it's seemingly a conflict. It's conflicting, implies different things. Implies that the neshama it's the candle of man. Before it says the neshama is ner havaya nishma. So one implies that the neshama is ner havaya, and Midrash implies that the neshama is ner the Adam, the candle of man. So that was the beginning, Ois Aleph. Then we saw in Ois Beis, what is Beha'alos'cha Es Haneros? That Aaron arouses the neshamas and have a rotzen, have a desire to ascend on high. So he awakens that rotzen. So they already have the rotzen, already have a desire to connect to Hashem. But Aaron HaKohen's job is to arouse that will, to be one with the essence of Hashem, with the infinite light of God, with the Ein Sof. Although this Rotza, in this will, is already embedded in the Neshama, it's part of the Neshama. The Neshama wants it naturally. So what is our job? It says the souls are called candles. The same way that a candle has the nature, fire has the nature to ascend on high and to connect to its source. Similarly with the neshama, has a teva, as a nature that wants to ascend on high. But nevertheless, we still need Aaron. What do we need Aaron for? It says, Beha'alos'cha Es Haneros, to uplift the candles, meaning to elevate the souls. Neshama candle is the same thing. So we need the Aaron to elevate the candles, to elevate the neshamas. Why? Because the neshama descended into a physical body, and this nature that wants to connect to Hashem is being concealed, being hidden. So Aaron's job is now to re-arouse something that is already there, but is in a state of concealment. Then he explains the different types of neshamas. There's neshamas that are called seed of man, and neshamas that are called seed of animal. What's the difference between the two? It says the neshamas that are called seed of man, when they come down, even though they are enclosed in a physical body, the body does not disturb their avodas Hashem, the way they serve Hashem, and they are, everything by them is revealed, the connection to Hashem, the feelings. They don't have the obscurity and the concealment that a regular person would have. But then on the other hand, regular neshamas that, another point that I did not mention, the neshamas that are called Zera Adam are originated from Atzilus, from the world of emanation. Neshamas that are called the seed of animal are originated from either the world of Bria, creation, or formation, or action. So coming from a lower place. So the neshamas that are coming from a higher place, by them it's revealed. The desire, even though they are in a physical body right now, but by the desire to be one with Hashem is revealed. So the neshamas that are called Zera Behema, coming from Bria Yitzir Asiyah, they come down and enclosed in a body. Now they are attracted to physical things. They're attracted they're going after the body. Try to satisfy the body at all times. So that's why they're called Behema. Because what is the Behema? Behema always puts his head down. To eat, has to lower his head. So the idea of Behema descends, not that God forbid a human is an animal. It's not an animal. It's called Behema because it's being drawn after physical things. So what is the job of Aaron? Aaron's job is to arouse and to reveal the nature. What is the nature that is within our neshama? To ascend on high, to one like the candles that wants to go to reconnect with the essence, to the infinite light of God, and this nature should be revealed the same way it was before the neshama came down. So it should continue to be that way, even though you are in a physical body. So then we learned that the reason the elevations of the candle, Beha'alos'cha Es Haneros, revealing this nature of the neshama to ascend on high, to connect to Hashem, to look for a connection constantly. The reason why it's being done specifically by Aaron, why not? It's not being done by someone else. So the Pasuk in Tehillim, that there is a good oil that descends on the head of Aaron, it comes down on his beard, the beard of Aaron that comes down on his midos. Interesting Pasuk in Tehillim. So Chassidus breaks it down. It tells us, what does it mean, the beard of Aaron? The beard of Aaron is referring to the laws of the Torah. The laws of Torah. Halacha. And through Torah of light, what is being revealed, the nature of the neshama. So really, we just said that Aaron is the one that reveals it. But here we see that Torah is light, and Torah can reveal this nature in you. Even, let's say your neshama, most people neshama does, it says over here that most neshamas are coming from Bria Etzirasya, not coming from Atzilus. So, most of us have this, all of us have the Rotzei in us, but it's concealed. So how do we wake it up? How do we arouse this Rotzei, this will to connect to Hashem, this nature in our neshama? It says through Torah. So now we can understand the Rabbi Menashe, which is the fourth Lubavitcher Rebbe. Why did he bring this midrash that if you keep my candle, if you guard my candle, I guard your candle? Because really, to have the desire to connect to Hashem in a revealed way is connected with. It is connected with learning Torah. What's the connection between the two? If you guard my candle, I'm guarding your candle. If you keep the Torah, I'm going to keep your nefesh. Hashem says, you have my candle in your hand, meaning we have the Torah. And Hashem says, I have your candle in my hand, I have your nefesh in my hand. How do we mishamer, how do we keep the two? And what's the connection between one to another? Why they're dependent on one another? So explain in the Midrash, it says, Eile told us Hashemayim v'Ha'aretz. These are the focus over here on the word Eile, these. So these are the history, the offsprings of heaven and earth. It says in the Midrash, what merit do they have, why they're standing, the heaven and earth, why they're existing for so long. So it says, because they have merit. What merit do they have? There's another pasuk that starts with the same way. Eile Shemois Bnei. These are the names of Bnei Yisrael. And then it says, Eile ha'edos v'chukim mishpat. So we have two psukim starting with the same word Eile. The names of the Jewish people and Eidos chukim mishpat. So the meaning over here, that the creation of the world was for Israel, for Am Yisrael. And the shleimus, the completion of Am Yisrael, the completion of the Jewish people, is being done through the Torah. We can reach perfection, the completion, perfection, shleimus, is through the Torah. By the Jewish people fulfilling the 613 mitzvahs, they're being elevated to a higher level than they came. A higher level than what they came from. Assuming they came from a specific level, through fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs, they're ascending to a higher level. Otherwise, what's the point of the trip? The idea of the trip, come down into this world, is that you can ascend to a higher level. And you have the tools to do it through Torah and mitzvahs. And that's the meaning, if you keep my candle, I'm going to keep your candle. The keeping the candle of the neshama is through keeping the candle of the Torah. They're both connected to one another. And through the fulfillment of Torah and mitzvahs, the neshama is being elevated to a much greater level than it was before coming down. And that's really the concept of Beha'alos'cha Es Haneros, is the elevation that is being done to the neshama is much greater than what it had before. And understanding this, we have to preface the concept of shmiras, keeping the candles. What does it mean? Guarding this candle of the neshama. It says it's not just saying for a person not to sin. Obviously, you shouldn't be sinning. He says that the guarding the candle of the neshama is dependent, obviously, that you're not transgressing the commandment of the Torah. Why? Because someone who transgresses, someone who sins, it creates a blemish in the neshama. But the diuk, the learning in this specific mimer, is that guarding of the candles is primarily associated with the keeping of the Torah. It's obviously the sur merah is the sur merah. You have to refrain from evil, from transgressing. You have to refrain from transgressing, but the main theme over here is that keeping the candle of your neshama, guarding it, maintaining it, enhancing it, nurturing it, is primarily through fulfillment of Torah. So, as we mentioned before, there are two types of neshamas. It comes to neshamas of Atzilus. Neshamas of Atzilus, we said by them it's already revealed. Most of the souls are coming from Bria Yitzir Asiyah. For them, the guarding of the candle of the neshama is dependent on the candle of Torah, because for them the body conceals the candle of the neshama, conceals the neshama. So how do we keep it up? Keep it up through fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs. It says in Tanya, bought from Zohar, that the body is the weak, and you have to have oil. What is the oil? You have to have oil. Without the oil, the wick is going to burn out quickly. The oil is the good deeds, is the mitzvahs we do. The question is, okay, for us, for most people, to guard the candle, to continue it, to make sure it's continuous, it's through the Torah. Learning Torah, doing mitzvahs. But what about those that by them they're already there? Neshamas of Atzilus, souls of Atzilus. Well, why do they need to awaken? Their natural desire to connect to God is already there. It's already awakened. So it says in order to understand that, we have to understand what it says in the Maimer, that keeping the candle of the neshama is through keeping the candles of Torah. We said, these are the names of Bnei Yisrael, and because of them, there is Eile. So why the Eile Shemesh Bnei Yisrael? Meaning that one is connected to the other. So, keeping the candles of the neshama is through keeping the candle of Torah. Why? Ki Eile Shemesh Bnei Yisrael. These are the names of Bnei Yisrael. We are enduring, we are standing in the merits of what? Chukim Mishpatim, keeping the Torah, keeping the laws, because of another Eile. So Eile Shemesh Bnei Yisrael are enduring or surviving because, or thriving even, because of Eidus Chukim Mishpatim. Another pasuk starts with Eile. What is Eidus Chukim Mishpatim? The different laws of Torah. Laws that we understand, the laws that we understand less, and the chukim, things that we don't understand. So, but that encompasses Eidus Chukim Mishpatim, encompasses all the mitzvahs of the Torah. So, seemingly, the fact that we survive and thrive is because of Torah and mitzvahs. So, through the fulfillment of Torah and mitzvahs, we are being elevated to a much greater level. As, like we said, as the neshama were before coming down. But the neshamas of Bnei Yisrael, it says, is not dependent seemingly on the Torah. And the interpretation, if you guard my candle, the Midrash says, if you guard my candle, I'm guarding yours. Keeping the candles of the neshama is not speaking about elevation. Speaking, maintaining it the way it is. So maintaining it is through keeping the Torah, keeping Shmiras Haner the Torah, meaning keeping the candle of Torah, maintains the neshama. But that is only associated with the lower levels of neshamas. We said the neshamas are gvois, the lofty neshamas, those who are coming from Atzilus, seemingly don't need it. So why does it say that for them to guard the neshama is through Torah? So then he brings the whole thing of I mentioned before about the Zohar and Tanya, that the light of the candle does not hold or does not shine the wick without oil. You must have oil. Similarly, the Shekhinah, divine presence, does not rest on a person without oil. You must have oil. And what is the oil? Ma'asim tovim, good deeds. Good deeds were compared to oil. Why does the Shekhinah depend on good deeds? Why does it need our good deeds? Why is not enough to rely on our neshama? Neshama is part of Hashem. Why do we still need the oil? It says when you take off even the neshama of a tzaddik, serves Hashem with awe, with love, and not just love of delight. What is love of delight? That he is so close to godliness that he already is enjoying it. Obviously, as opposed to someone who has love to Hashem, but his love is based on the fact that he feels distant from Hashem. He feels distant, so he's yearning, his anticipation, he's missing it. He is missing something. So that's the lower level of love. So even a tzaddik that is experiencing a higher level of love, it says that he's still missing something. His neshama is not completely nullified. Rather, he's the person that loves Hashem. He's the person that fears God. So his existence is not completely nullified. And the mitzvahs that are when it comes to him doing mitzvahs, now, mitzvahs is what? Mitzvahs is the inner will of God. Since the mitzvahs are the inner will of Hashem, the life that are in them, the life that are invested within the mitzvahs, are not something separated from Hashem at all. So the point is that the mitzvahs represent, enables you to connect to Hashem much higher level, because it represents a higher level of bitul. Because we said only when you do mitzvahs the Shekhinah can rest on a person. So just to have a neshama is not sufficient, because the neshama does not reach the ultimate bitul, the ultimate nullification. In order for the Shekhinah to rest, you have to have the ultimate nullification, and that happens when you do mitzvahs. Why doesn't it have the ultimate nullification? Because it's still, if you love Hashem, it's you that love. If you fear Hashem, it's you that fears. But Shekhinah can rest, the divine person can rest on something that becomes completely one with Hashem. It's called bitul b'metzius. His existence is completely nullified. And that happens when you do a mitzvah. So this all connected by keeping the candle of the neshama is through keeping the candle of Torah. Because the candle of the neshama, what does it mean? The candle of the neshama is the nullification of the neshama. And the completion, the perfection of nullification, meaning how can you come to the ultimate if bitul is so important? Nullification is so important. How can we reach perfection within bitul, within nullification? So shleimus habitul, the ultimate bitul of the neshama, is primarily kiyum mitzvahs. When you fulfill the mitzvahs, your neshama can reach the ultimate bitul. And that's why the candle of the neshama is called Nercho, your candle, the nail of a person. And the nail of the Torah is called Neri, the candle of God. Why? As we said before, the bitul of the neshama is not complete. You want to reach completion? You want your nullification to be perfect? You have to have the candle of mitzvahs. Mitzvahs are the inner will of God and are united with Him in a complete way, and then enables the Shekhinah to rest on you. That obviously lead to fulfillment of mitzvahs, as we said, draws down nullification to the soul, and Hashem guards our candle. We learn Torah, guards our candle. This whole thing is connected to the holiday of Shavuos. That through fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs, there is elevation to the neshama, because this was already given to us. That was the Chidush of Matan Torah. What was the Chidush of Matan Torah? That now the neshama is being elevated through the fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs to a greater level than it was before coming down. To explain that, it says, Ava Tivis, a natural love that is embedded in every Jew, to be connected to Hashem and not to be, God forbid, separated from Hashem. So much so that sometimes they do Mesiras Nefesh, they do self-sacrifice. This existed even before Matan Torah. And it's an inheritance to us from our forefathers, from Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. It says in Tanya, the fact that the Avos gave Yerusha to every single Jew, this Ava, because the Avos, the forefathers, are the Merkava, the chariot. Chariot has the ultimate bittul. Chariot is always nullified, the same way that chariot always does the will of the rider. And they're not doing it because they want to have a connection with the rider. They do it because they do it. That's Kabbalah Sale, accepting the yoke. Say, Neshama said, I want to have a connection with Hashem, so I have an agenda. A bittul of Merkava is that I don't care about it. It's not my thing. Merkava is not looking to have a connection with anything. And Merkava is looking to do what Hashem wants to do what the writer wants. In our case, the bittul that we're looking for is a bittul we do what Hashem wants without any agendas. So when it comes to Ava Tivis, the natural love that is given to us from Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov is the Merkava. It says clearly that the Ava Tivis that is given to every single Jew as inheritance is included in that also Ava Shebechinas Bitul, a type of Ava that is in a state of Bitul, that he doesn't want anything for himself at all. And his entire will is to have godly revelation in the world. Wants a dwelling place in this world. What Hashem wants, that's what he wants. There's nothing on its own. This is already given to us as a Yerusha. We'll continue, God willing, tomorrow.